Hello everyone and welcome to another What I Think review. So today we are going to be finally looking at the new, or when I say new, the latest release for the History of the Daleks sets, because these have been out in the shops for a while, but it took me a while to get hold of them. The new History of the Daleks sets from Genesis of the Daleks and Destiny of the Daleks. First things first, I would like to give a huge shout out to Dave over at Custom Who for getting hold of these for me. Unfortunately my local B&M's fall prey to the scalpers. And he was very kind in getting hold of these and sending them to me. So I am very, very thankful for him for getting them to me. So let's get into having a look at these, and we're going to start off with History of the Daleks Set 11. So we're going to start off with the Genesis of the Daleks Set 2, because Set 1 was obviously the set that came with Davros and the Dalek that had the removable gun and arm. I should say that the Daleks in this, in terms of colouring and design, are pretty much exactly the same as the ones that were in the previous set. Obviously they've got the difference of having the removable gun things, which the gun and the arm stock, which these ones don't have. But in terms of colouring, these are exactly the same. If you haven't already seen my review of the Davros set, please go and check that out as well, because I also do a comparison of the newer Genesis colour scheme that these are in compared to the original release, so I'm not going to do that again in this video because I've already done it. But overall, again, nicely presented in the box. I'm still not entirely sold on this bubble packaging, but that looks like that's here to stay. And then obviously on the back here we've got information about the story, and then also a nice bit of behind the scenes information about the props as well, because obviously, you know, it's nice that we've got this little bit of extra information, because some of the previous releases we've had, they've got little discrepancies and changes here and there about the props. So it's nice to have that little bit of extra information on the back. But let's get into having a look at what we've got in the box. So here we have the Daleks out of the box. There's not a huge amount to say about them, because they are sort of just Daleks really, but there's some nice interesting small differences on them. So this one has a grey or black ball joint on the shoulder, on the gun box area, and it also has no oval on the front. This one does have the oval on the front, but it has the silver gun ball, and this one also has some of the newer style of dome lights, which has, well, on the Destiny ones, which we're going to look at in a minute, they've got a kind of black ring around them. These ones are just clear, but it does have the newer style of lights. Other than that, they are pretty much just standard variants as far as I can see. There doesn't seem to be anything else that's particularly unique about them, but you know, they're very nice. They're very nice for army building. You know, I think that's probably what a lot of people will or have bought these for. Yeah, they are very nice variants. They look, I think they look very good alongside alongside the Genesis sets, you know, because that's set 1, this is set 2. I think it's definitely going to be a set that I think, well, the thing is, this is another thing, because I'm reviewing these after they've been out in store, so I'm going to say I think, but it probably is the case, that you know, these kind of ones will sell well just purely because of the army building. But I think for that reason, these are what I would determine as very good potential future releases. This is just purely speculation on my part. I'm not suggesting that Character Options are doing anything of this kind of thing, but for Character Options to release these as sort of, say, double packs or triple packs even on their website as just army building, you know, I think that they would just fly off the shelves so quickly. And I think at the end of the day, not just for army building, but for customizers, you know, I know that people like nice, unique variants, and it's always great to see the Character Option exclusive variants where they can do new and better and brand new stuff. But honestly, I think if Character Options made these kinds of Daleks in their sort of, you know, thousands, and they just sold them online as not a History of the Dalek sets, but Daleks from this particular story, whether they were single carded or double or triple, whatever, they would sell so well, and people would be constantly buying them, either to army build and make up lots of them, or for people like me and many others out there, customizers would just constantly buy them, you know. And I really do think it is something that Character Options should consider, you know, because there is so much potential out there, especially for this sort of, you know, generic grey renegade, because they were so often appeared in the classic series. The other thing that I will say that I do like about these, although it's what brought it to mind, but I think it would be more appropriate to use the planet drones as an example, because they are more metallic grey. But I would love to see, and I'm going to mention this now, although I'm going to come back to it in the next bit of the review, I would love to see another Destiny set, because I know people are holding out for a Destiny Davros and Bomb Dalek, which, you know, I think would be very popular. You know, as I said in my review of the Davros set, I think that would be a great one to do. But I would also say, actually, just having a generic grey drone and the Bomb Dalek variant, because one of these sort of metallic grey drones did appear in Destiny, would also be a great set, and I definitely think that would be one that people would go for. But also, you know, there is a scene with Davros there where I think even the generic grey drone has bombs attached to it. So, you know, just re-releasing one of these Daleks from that story, you know, with a slightly different colour scheme, perhaps with the bombs attached to it, I think it would be great. I still think a Davros set would sell better, but, you know, I'm just putting, you know, my own speculative ideas of what possible alternatives there could be. Yeah, you know, these are really nice Daleks. As I said, there's not a huge amount to say about them because they are just your standard sort of drones, but they really, really do look very good. But now let's get on to having a look at the Destiny set. So here we have the Destiny of the Daleks set. Again, very nice one. I do like the Destiny of the Daleks colour scheme, although we're going to come back to that in a minute, because I think there's a little bit of a discrepancy or something, some things that I think people have a little bit worried about on these. But overall, again, nice box, nicely presented. Still prefer the old one. If we turn it round, of course, on the back here, we have a bit about the episode, and then we have quite a bit about the behind the scenes, which is fantastic, because this delves into a bit more about what I had previously said. You know, for example here, of the 4 props assembled, the lead Dalek was the only prop to retain its darker grey finish from Genesis of the Daleks. So, you know, it's interesting that they really have put a lot of work into, you know, really standing out and making a point of putting that kind of level of information in the behind the scenes thing. I really think it does add to these sets just to have that little bit of extra knowledge about what's in them. But let's get into having a look at what's in the box. But just before we do that, I want to have a quick extra little talk about the box itself, because this is the set that I am going to open. I have one that you've just seen in good condition, which I want to keep in good condition, but unfortunately I got this one, and as you can see, the box has sustained quite a bit of damage. It's been properly sort of knocked and creased, and there is actually tearing on the box here. Now, again, I want to make it absolutely clear, I understand and I can appreciate why Character Options might want to reduce plastic on the boxes and, you know, and things like that. But at the end of the day, what's happened here is this has clearly been, you know, I mean, I'm going to open it, so I might as well do it. It's clearly been crushed like that, and you can see, you know, the stresses of what's happened on the box. It's also obviously creased the inside of the box in the back here. I don't know how easily you can see that. And I do have to wonder, would that have necessarily happened if not just the plastic outside of the box was still on there, but also the plastic interior, you know, that held the Daleks in place was still there? Because at the end of the day, the outside of this is just cardboard, and that's gotten crushed. And I just wonder how many of these sets arrive in store in this condition because of the way these boxes are made. You know, I really don't want to keep having a go at, you know, it seem like I'm having a go at CEO about these boxes, but I just think it's such a mistake, and every time I seem to be getting one of these History of the Daleks sets lately. You know, the first ones we'd seen, we had, you know, it's a very strange change to the box. I didn't really understand the way it looked. You know, the box was sort of quite flimsy once you'd opened it, and difficult to sort of hold back together in place. We then had the Davros set, which had the whole plastic back in it again, and then suddenly we've gone back to these. You know, we've had to go back to these for the History of the Daleks set, so now I've got a box like this that's damaged because the box is less structurally stable. You know, it's not that I'm having a go at CO. I'm just pointing out, I'm saying it as I see it, and as I see it, these boxes are not for something that is called a limited edition collector figure set. I know that limited edition sticker there is part of the sales agreement with B&M. I know collector's figure set, it's just effectively words, but you know, those words still do mean something to a degree, and I think there is a bit of a letdown by having these, frankly, rather shoddy boxes. I'm sorry to be so blunt and put it that way, but like I said, I'm just calling it as I see it. I think it's a mistake that really does need to be rectified, and I'm not suggesting that Character Options go back and re-release the sets, you know, such as, you know, the Planet sets and the Genesis set and this set, you know, and re-release them with updated boxes, because that's not cost effective, or you know, it might be counterproductive. I know that lots of fans would like to see it. I would like to see it, but I can understand why they wouldn't do it. But just going ahead, I would happily pay a little bit more. You know, I'd happily pay up to £30 for these sets if it meant we could get the decent display boxes back. That's just me personally, but you know, I do have to bring it up because I keep seeing it, and I don't want to keep repeating myself about the boxes, but if I see it, I'm going to bring it up, you know. So I just wanted to, you know, make a point of saying that, you know, especially, you know, while I've got the sort of proof of how the boxes has arrived to me like this, you know, because I've had to get this one through the post. You know, I'm not from CO or anything like that. This is one that I've gotten externally, and at the end of the day, I'm not holding any, you know, the sellers and the people that got it for me responsible. This is the postage system. You know, the package was well packaged, but obviously, you know, it wasn't particularly handled with care. But this is going to happen. You know, it's going to happen, and it's going to happen again. So I'm going to talk about it. But enough being negative. Let's get on to having a look at what we've got in the box. Now, I've actually just thought I'm going to take this as an opportunity, because I'm not going to be able to salvage this box. I can't make a use of it. To open these as they are sort of intended to be open. As you may know, on my previous reviews, I've shown a way to cut a flap at the back to retain this plastic piece in place. But I'm going to try and get this out of the box as it is sort of expected to be, just to sort of, again, in a way, to kind of prove that these boxes aren't very practical. I'm sorry to, you know, keep going on about something like this, but I'm going to try and do it. So I might have to speed this up depending on how it goes. Right, so there we have the box open, but as you can see, I can't really... I mean, I could put them back in to display them, but you're going to be constantly seeing all of this mess around the top. Even if, you know, if I put the top back down, it's just, it looks a mess. I'm sorry, but it does. And again, I just put it as, I think that these boxes are a poor idea. But, you know, I just wanted to make a point. Make of this bit what you will. I just wanted to put it in here just for the sake of showing it. You know, that's just me. You know, I like to review these things fairly, and you know, opening the box is part of these. That's why I get them, and I think opening the box with these ones is, as they are intended to be open, is just not very good for collectors, seeing as they're aimed at as a collector's set. But let's have a look at the Daleks. So here are the Daleks out of the box, and we have the two new ones in the middle, but on the outside we have the original releases. Obviously we've got the one of the original releases, and then the bomb variant here. The reason I brought these in is to have a look at the colouring, because obviously I think in the promo pictures of the original ones, of the new ones, they looked a lot more turquoise. And I have to say, they are actually much more grey than they look, I think, on promo pictures and things like that. They are very, very nice figures. I personally think the colouring looks quite good. I don't think it's that off compared to what it appears in the promo pictures. But obviously, we've also got some nice new added differences. So this one has... oh, okay, well I have a bent gun on that one. That's actually warped. So again, I'm not trying to be critical here. I'm just saying it as I see it. I mean, you know, I've only just got these out of the box. So this one has the ball joint on it. That ball joint is... I actually can't move that ball joint. Okay, I'm not going to cut this out because I want to keep this in here, but that ball joint is stuck. and it looks like that gun has been forced into that ball joint, and it's made that very loose. Okay, moving on. So obviously we've got the new ball joints on the not new ball joint, different colour ball joint on this one, and this one also has the oval on it. This one has, as I said previously on the Genesis sets, it's got the newer dome lights on it that have the ring around the edge. The eye stalk is also actually new. If I turn it to the side, you can see it's got the slightly different rings on it, and the eyepiece is new on this one. Again, a fairly standard one, but this one has the no oval, and it's also got a slightly different patterning on the base, which has the slightly silver edge to it, and obviously this one as well has I don't believe this one also has a slightly bent gun. Okay, good job I've got spares. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound so annoyed, but I am a little bit annoyed about that. So this one has the no oval, and the base, as I said. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. And then we've also obviously got a little bit of weathering on and around the globes as well, which is a nice little added extra to see. Yeah, other than that, there's not a huge amount to say about them. But given that what I have just had in these sets, I have to say, because I didn't think I was going to have to bring this up, what's going on with the quality control character options? You know, I don't want to... I know that there are slight issues here and there. You sometimes get factory errors and things like that, but yeah, these are fresh out of the box, and I want to make it clear as well that I know this box was damaged, but the packaging, that, you know, the actual bubble packaging that these were in was all still intact. It was only the edge of the box that was an issue, and yeah, I've got some slightly warped... In fact, I've just noticed as well, if you look, that eye stalk slightly off askew as well, because that's obviously been slightly skewed. Yeah, I don't want to cut. You know, I'm sort of a slight, not loss for words, but I really am a little bit miffed, because normally these are all very good, and this is sort of the first time that, you know, at the end of the day, this is a brand new product and I've bought it. And I think, you know, normally when I get these sent to me for advanced reviews, you know, I do appreciate that I do get them in advance. I get them, do get them sent to me, so I don't pay for those ones. So I am going to, you know, not critique them as much as I would if I'd necessarily paid for them. I do point out the positives and negatives, but I have paid for these ones, and I do feel like I'm right in saying I am quite disappointed that the quality on these is a bit shoddy. You know, I'm sorry to be negative, but there it is, you know, and it is something which I do sort of keep in mind when I review these. You know, as I said, factory errors happen, small, you know, issues and errors happen, little things get warped and things like that. It's not the first time I've had Daleks with warped eye stalks and things like that, but to have a Dalek that is basically got warped pieces that are okay, I don't know if that comes up on camera, that's actually broken, that is snapped. So I've got a Dalek here that's got a snap gun and a ball joint that's effectively been forced and warped. Yeah, it's the bottom line. I don't see. There's no excuse. I'm sorry, but there's no excuse for that. That's something, you know, I appreciate errors happen, but that is something which shouldn't be in a finished product. You know, I'm like many people, I'm not happy with the boxes, but I accept there's a reason for the boxes, you know, reduced plastic and things like that, but this is just poor quality control, and that is something which is a bit of a shame to happen. Especially, you know, you might get people that get these as presents, especially given how difficult they are to get hold of. They finally get hold of them, they're happy to get hold of them, and they open them up and bits are broken and bits are warped, and, you know, bits start falling off. It is a shame. I'm sorry, you know, I said I'm sorry to be so negative. I was really looking forward to reviewing these ones, because I think out of these two new sets, these ones are actually some of the nicest looking, and yeah, they've got their issues. However, trying to stay slightly more positive and on a more positive note, I am planning on actually doing some customs with these and making a bomb version of this, because at the time of recording, as far as we know, a bomb version isn't coming. As I said previously, it would be great to see either a Davros set with a bomb version or another Genesis set with perhaps the darker Dalek with a bomb version. So, you know, we may get it in future, but as far as I know, you know, nothing's been said we aren't. So I'm not expecting to see it, so making my own version would be very nice. So again, it's a good thing that I'm going to be taking these apart to make customs, but yeah, it's a bit of a shame that I have to end this review on a slightly negative note. But again, when I review these, I like to review them fairly. As I said, I'm going to call it as I see it, and what I'm seeing here is some rather poor quality control. This is probably just these ones I've been unfortunate to get. Please don't let it dissuade you from buying these Daleks. They are absolutely fantastic as display pieces, and you know, I can fix these. I shouldn't have to, but I can. So, you know, if you do find these Daleks in the store, I would highly recommend getting them for, you know, as Daleks. They are very, very good. They look very good alongside, you know, the original releases. I personally think the colouring of them is very good. And, you know, few issues and quality control issues and box issues aside in these, they are very, very good Daleks, and I'm certainly looking forward to seeing whatever we get in future in terms of the history of the Dalek sets, because, you know, as I said, few issues aside, they are wonderful, wonderful sets, and it's lovely to see this range continuing. But that brings to a close another What I Think review, and I've just realised I'm giving away some of my editing trickery here, because as you can see, I haven't actually unboxed these yet, so I'm doing my outro before I've done the rest of the review. Oh dear, secrets are revealed. But that brings to a close another What I Think review. As always, I hope you'll enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot, and the description below for a link to my Patreon. I'm doing my very first figure animation, and you can get involved. There's exclusive content and rewards for those who do so, and funding my Patreon in any way gets your name at the end of my videos. I salute you all, and I will see you in another video very soon.